Camp Compassion. What does it mean? This week we'll be exploring what it means to be compassionate. God's compassion for us is what gives us grace and love and mercy, and God wants us too to be compassionate. That is, to care for one another. The Bible says that we're connected. When one person rejoices, we all get to rejoice, and when one person suffers, we all suffer. Compassion has to do with seeing suffering around us and doing what we can to change it, to welcome those who are lost, and to bless those who seek blessing. So on this first day, we'll take a look at a familiar story. In Luke 15, Jesus is telling parables of being lost, and yet because of compassion and the willingness to search, being found. So in Luke chapter 15, compassion. Of course, remember what it means. I see your hurt, I feel your hurt with you, and I'll work to make things better. Jesus told a parable. There once was a man who had 2 sons. The younger son didn't want to stay on the farm. He greedily wanted his inheritance ahead of time so he could go out, see the world. So he turned his back on his family and left them for a faraway country. And his father, knowing he couldn't keep him on the farm, let him go. And the younger son wasted all that money with parties and with friends and with experiences. And eventually, the friends disappeared when the money disappeared. He became hungry. He was in need. So he looked for work, and all he could find was feeding pigs out in the field. And he got so hungry he was tempted to eat the food he was giving to the pigs. And then he came to himself and realized, you know what? Even my father's servants are fed and are more comfortable than this. I should go home. I'll offer myself as a servant to my father. Perhaps he will welcome me home. So he traveled. Imagine hungry and without any money to pay for things along the way, how he looked when he finally did get home. And his father saw him far off, and he went running to him and cut him off the prepared speech that he had. Father, let me be your servant. Let me be one of your servants who take care of the things for you. But the father ordered clean clothes and jewelry for his fingers, and he ordered a banquet and invited the neighbors, and they celebrated because he was so happy his son was alive and home. Meanwhile, the older brother, the older obedient brother, who always did what the father said, who always worked hard on the farm, he was coming home after a long day's hard work, heard the party, found out what was going on, that his brother, he didn't call him his brother, he called him his father's son, was home, and there was a party for him, and so he refused to go in. But the father had compassion on the older son too, and he goes out and convinces him by saying, your brother was lost, now he's found. He was somewhere else, and now he's home. The brother tried to complain, but the father convinced him that this was indeed the best thing. And he promised his older son too, I love you. You know what is mine is yours. But people matter more than possessions. We thought we lost your brother from our family, but he's home. Come in and celebrate with us. That's where the parable ends, and Jesus never really tells us what the older brother chose to do. We hope he goes in to celebrate with the family. When we listen to stories, we can learn about feelings, our own feelings and the feelings of others. This is one of the ways that we learn compassion. We see, we listen, and we recognize what people might be feeling. And this helps us to feel their joy and their hurt with them. Sometimes it requires a bit of imagination on our part because the story might not tell us exactly what people are feeling or what people decide to do, like the older brother. For example, we might focus on the younger brother and father, but the older brother had something to show us too. Compassion helps us to see how every human being is important and loved by God. Remember, when one person rejoices, we all rejoice, and when one person suffers, we all suffer. Compassion helps us turn suffering into rejoicing.